I love to start a weekend day by going to one of the coffee shops in town, seeing folks that I know in Laramie, checking in, and also just that feels to me just indulgent to spend a couple of hours in a beautiful morning to see this town waking up and people coming out and opening shops and going off on hikes, and while I sit there with the newspaper with a book that I'm working on. I'm Peter Parolin. I'm the Dean of the Honors College at the University of Wyoming. Came out of the English department where I worked for many years before being an honors. I've worked with the Honors College ever since I first came here. And one of the things that was attractive to me about coming to the English department was English had these relationships with other units across campus, and the Honors College was one of them. And I like a small college town that we live here at the University of Wyoming. There is so much going on in this town because of the university, aside from what is going on just in the town and what's going on when you go out to the Snowies or you go up to Vitavu. There's so many of the things that feed me, my mind, my heart, are here at the university and in the university's relationship to the town of Laramie. When I've told friends or family that I'm the Dean of the Honors College, they'll say, "Oh, that's wonderful. What is that?" There's either ignorance about what honors colleges are, like people just don't know, or else there are stereotypes that are often wrong. The Honors College is a home for academically ambitious students from all different disciplines who also want to make a difference in the world, for whom it's not just about classroom, it's about leadership, engagement, service to their communities. So these are students that are just hungry to live a full life. We're an interdisciplinary college, so we've got students from every college on campus. Mine are here in honors. Well, a couple of the really classic interdisciplinary courses that we have are neuroscience and law. That's taught by one of our standing faculty members who is a neuroscience PhD, and she's looking in her class at how developments in our understanding about the brain shape the way we hold ourselves accountable in law, because there's this whole field that I didn't know about called neurolaw, which is like how do brains insist that we take them into account when we're holding people accountable in front of the law. She's taught that class on her own before. The next time she teaches it, which will be in a few months, she's going to have a law school student as a kind of an intern with her to really beef up the law side of it. Another great course we have is called The History of Diseases. Super popular for people who are going into medical school, interested in medical school, but also if you're into public policy or just history, it's fascinating. And if you are the kind of student who wants more out of your education, who wants to take advantage of what's available to you here, this is the place for you. The world is a big and rich and complicated place. The world's super interconnected. So if a student might say, I want to live in this small town, in this rural state for the rest of my life, whatever work they're doing is going to abut in some way work that somebody's doing on the other side of the globe. So to be able to function as a citizen wherever you're based in the world, you need to have an understanding of cultural difference, norms, expectations, ways that people do things, how people see the world. And then, just in terms of another part of education that I think is really important, is educating, cultivating, growing a human being. And that does mean getting out into the world and recognizing that the way it happens in your hometown isn't the way it happens everywhere. So if I take students abroad and they are having a wonderful time and they are discovering the multiple flavors of gelato that they can buy in Venice, that's fantastic. But then we're going to go to the ghetto and we're going to talk about the history of the Jews in Venice and the ways in which Shakespeare represents that history in his play The Merchant of Venice. Or we're going to look at incredible architecture and think about the cultural mixing that you can see in the buildings of that city. It shapes you. We were a co-sponsor of Aziz Abu Sara's visit to campus, and he is a Palestinian peace activist who has also done, well, a lot of his peace activism is done through talking about travel and literally crossing boundaries. There's a lot of different communities here within this one city. That might be surprising to somebody that's never lived in Laramie. You'd think that a small town is really homogeneous, but it's not. There's different industries and people who pursue different paths passions, whether they are outdoor passions or whether they're very contemporary kind of tech industry passions, or whether it's artistic passions, intellectual. It's the kind of town that is open, where people look out for each other. They're interested in you and your story. But if you go to a lot of organizations and shops and businesses around this town, you'll see people who had a vision that I think that we have a space for X, Y, Z here, and I'm going to try to fill it. And they've sure done it.